All right, so we're going to go through the review sheet here. We're going to do the first page, and we'll see how long it takes us, and I'll try to cut it up for you. So, all right, so we're going to take a look and try to figure out the coordinates of points A and B here. So, A is technically referred to as the x-intercept, and B is the y-intercept. Now, this equation is what is called standard form. That's AX plus BY is equal to C. And essentially, if I'm located on the y-axis here, okay, then all the x coordinates here are 0, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 6, whatever. So this point B has the coordinates 0, something, okay? And I need to go figure out what that something is. And likewise, this point A over here, okay, is on the x-axis, the x-intercept, and all the points here are like 3, 0, 3, 4, 4, 0, not 3, 4, 4, 0, 5, 0, 6, 0. So this has the coordinates of x, something, 0. And so what we want to do is figure out what the question marks are, right? So if I'm looking for the intercept, I'm looking for the y-intercept, that means I'm going to plug 0 in for the x, and if I'm looking for the x-intercept, I'm going to plug 0 in for y here, okay? So take a look at our equation, and let's go figure out b first, the y-intercept. So we're going to plug 0 in for x, so it's 3 times 0 plus, in this case, it's 4y equals 24, and then this is going to give us 0, okay? So it's going to become 0, so we get 4y is equal to 24. We divide out by 4 here, and we're going to get y is equal to 6. So that is our y-intercept, okay? So this point is the point 0, 6, really. And the x-intercept, we're going to plug 0 in for y. So 3 x, not parentheses, plus 4 times 0 is equal to 24. This is going to become 0, so I get 3x is equal to 24, and then when we divide it by 3, we're going to get x is equal to 8. All right, so that tells me this is now the point 8, 0. All right, so that's how we get the intercepts. So for the next part of this, all right, we want the coordinates of point M. We're going to do the midpoint. All right, remember midpoint is average. So we're going to add the x's and then divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. So for AB, x2, we'll grab the b. All right, so that's 0 plus 8 over 2. And then it's 6 plus 0 over 2. All right, which is essentially just 8 divided by 2, or 4, and then 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So there's our midpoint. All right, so that's the coordinates of M. And now we want to figure out the equation of line 2 if it passes through the midpoint M and C, which is down here, which has the coordinates of 0, -2. And we know M, which is right here, has the coordinates of 0.43. All right, so this is just the equation of a line given 2 points. So remember, if we want to find the equation of a line, we need 2 things. We need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Those are the 2 things we need. So we'll figure out the slope first. So remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So b, we're grabbing b first, okay, which is actually not b, it's c and m. So we'll grab c, so y2 is -2 minus m, which is y1, so that's 3, over 0, minus, and we'll go up to m, which is 4. So this gives me -5 over 4 over -4, which is +5/4. If you flip them around and did -3 minus -2, you'll still end up with 5/4, okay? Now we want to find b, so we're going to take this point, which is on the line, point C, and we're going to plug 0, -2 in for x and y. So y equals mx plus b, okay? And we're going to plug in. So we got -2 is equal to the slope, which is 5/4 times 0 plus b. And then this is just going to give us 0 right here, okay? So we get negative 2 is equal to b, which makes sense because the y-intercept is supposed to have 0 as the x there. So our final equation is y is equal to 5 over 4x minus 2, and that's in slope-intercept form. If we wanted to do point-slope form, that's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We could just use this point, negative 2, 0 here again, and do y minus negative 2 is equal to 5 over 4 times x minus 0. So this would just be y plus 2 is equal to 5 over 4 times x, and that would be point slope form. All right. We want to find the length of MC and AC to the nearest tenth. So we already have M and C. So A, if you remember, is the point 8, 0. All right. So we got move it up just a little bit so we can see that. So A is 8, 0. All right, and we already know M's up there and there's C. So MC, the distance, we use the distance formula for this, okay? So that's the square root of x2 minus x1 squared. That's supposed to be a squared. We'll wait for that to undo itself here in a second. And then plus y2 minus y1 squared. So squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. We're going to plug in. So distance equals the square root. So x2, we're going to go 0.2. So we'll just use, for MC, we'll use c as 0.2. So that's negative 2 minus the m, which is the x. Oh, and I already mixed that up. Second x, that's 0. So 0 minus the first x, which is 4 squared, plus y2. So negative 2 minus 3 squared. There's a minus. All right. And then that's the distance formula. So this is just equal to negative 4 squared plus negative 5 squared. And so essentially, this is the square root. Remember, these are always positive. So this is 16 plus 25. So that's the square root of 41. I'm writing way more than you really need to here, but I just want to make sure you guys can see what this should come out to be. And so the square root of 41 is 6.4. All right, and we'll do this one the second way. So if I use the first point A, which has the coordinates of 8, 0, and C, which has coordinates of 0, negative 2, we're going to do is we're going to use the leapfrog method, and then we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So I want to count, how do I get from 8 to 0 and from 0 to negative 2? So the first one is a minus 8, the second one is a minus 2, and this is going to go in for a and then b. So it's just 8 squared plus negative 2 squared, all right, is equal to c squared. So this is 64 plus 4, all right, which is 68. Remember, it's always positive, all right? And the square root of 68 is just over 8. We're going to guess and say 8.2, but we'll take a look. Square root of 68. 8.24, what's up? So 8.2, and that's approximately c, all right? And there's your distance. Okay, second one is essentially finding the perpendicular bisector equation. So remember, you want to find the slope, perpendicular slope, midpoint, and then the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So there's our points, 2, 3, 4, 9. So slope, if you remember, mountain slope, well, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So second point y coordinate, that's 9, minus first point y coordinate is 3. Second point, right, x coordinate is 4, and then minus 2. So 9 minus 3 is 6, 4 minus 2 is 2, so that slope is 3. So the perpendicular slope, right, take 3 over 1 as a fraction, flip it over, and then make it negative. All right, midpoint, remember, is the average, so we're going to add and divide by 2, so that's x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2, and then we plug in. So second x is 4 plus 2 over 2, and then we do the next one. That's 9 plus 3 over 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. 9 plus 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. And there's the midpoint of AB. All right, so find the equation of the perpendicular bisector. We're going to use, remember, we need two things to state the equation. We need m, which we already know, is negative 1/3, and we need b, which we don't know. So we're going to plug in to y equals mx plus b. We know y is 6. We know m is negative 1/3. We know x is 3, and we want to find b. So negative 1/3 times 3 is equal to negative 1. And then we're going to add that 1 to both sides, and we'll get a y-intercept of 7. So if b is 7, then we can state our equation. So it's y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. Remember, don't plug in for x and y. All right, and if we were going to do slope-intercept form, y minus y1, or sorry, this is point slope, x minus x1, we're going to plug in. So that's y minus, we're using this midpoint here to plug in, 6 equals the slope, which is negative 1/3. Oh, I don't have to put that in parentheses. We can get rid of those. So negative 1/3, and then it's x minus our x coordinate, which is 3 here. All right, so negative 1/3, and then x minus 3. And there's our point of slope form. So either form's okay. Take either one. All right, unless it specifically mentions which one to use. All right, guys, that's first page, and I'll send the next couple pages coming over in a minute.